Okay, we're going to move to the Economic Development meeting. We have two recommendations here. One for the first one being the Community Improvement Plan to proceed. We'll go for, pardon? You want me to read it out? Okay, I'll read out the recommendation. A Community Improvement Plan that Economic Development Committee recommend Council of the Township of Whitewater Region Council approve proceeding with Phase 1 of the Community Improvement Plan process, including consultation with Township residents and businesses, and enact a bylaw to designate the Township of Whitewater Region's villages and hamlets as shown in the County of Renfrew official plan as the Community Improvement Project Area Phase 1. All looking for a mover. Moved by the Mayor, Johnson, seconded by Councillor McLaughlin. Yeah, Robert, would you like to touch on it?
Yeah, sure. So the reason why we're doing this in two phases, the current county OP doesn't allow us to implement some of the programs. So some of the programs that we were thinking about doing in Phase 2 were more like value-added agriculture, waterfront improvement, water quality improvement, and that entails moving the septic systems of properties located on Muskrat Lake and Ottawa River.
Robert?
So basically, the county official plan does have some good language that Robert found in terms of proceeding with a CIP, but in very kind of traditional, in a traditional sense, stuff that we can do in the villages and hamlets. The other stuff that we'd like to do across the township, like Robert was saying, in terms of waterfront areas, to support water quality improvements, value-added agriculture, brownfields for any former industrial lands that hopefully down the road would be redeveloped. Those we would do in Phase 2. Brownfields could be included at this point, but we feel the more complex incentives and grant programs will wait for Phase 2. So what this will allow us is, while we have Robert with us, we can try to get Phase 1 done and get out to businesses and residents so that we can look at some programs we can do in the hamlets and villages. So by passing this, it allows us to move forward with that. We'd have a first bylaw that would identify the study area, and once we've had consultation, Robert will come back with a follow-up report in consultation with the county on the policy framework to allow us to do some incentives, for instance, to improve the facades, signage, and other things we can do in the hamlets and villages. So it just means we can do this in 2 bites instead of one big one.
Any questions further? Seeing none, all those in favor? And it's carried. So B is the First Impressions Community Exchange Program, and the recommendation is that the Economic Development Committee recommend Council of the Township of Whitewater Region approve proceeding with the First Impressions Community Exchange through the Ontario Ministry of Agriculture and Food and Rural Affairs. Looking for a mover? Councillor Olmsted, seconded by Councillor McLaughlin. And who'd like to speak to it? Robert, Ethan?
Yeah, so this is a follow-up to one of the programs I presented on last council meeting 2 weeks ago. So the First Impressions Community Exchange Program is through OMAFRA. We visit a partnering community. That partnering community comes and visits us, and we exchange reports based on the first impressions. So things like signage, community services, entrances and exits, the general feeling, services offered, that sort of thing. And it's a good way to start. Kind of looking at what we need to improve on, what we're already doing very well, and some of the opportunities we have to improve on the things we need to.
Great. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Oh, excuse me, Mayor?
It's more of a comment than a question. I think this is a great way to, one, get ideas when you go to the other community, and number two, nothing is seen clearer than the eye from somewhere else. And I think that's a great program.
Great. Anybody else? All those in favor? It's carried. That's it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll bring the Roads, Property, and Protection meeting to order. First item is for gravel crushing tender. I have a recommendation that the Roads, Property, and Protection Committee recommend Council, the Township of Whitewater Region, enact a bylaw to award tender 2017-06 gravel crushing to GP Splinter Forest Products Limited at a total cost of $117,634.60 after HST rebate, and authorize the Mayor and CAO Clerk to enter into the necessary agreement. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Mackay, seconded by Councillor McLaughlin. Any questions? Councillor McLaughlin?
I'll direct this one to Janet. Do you know what pits we're crushing in?
Okay. Sorry, no, the tender actually did dictate where and how much, what quantities were done. I just don't have a copy of the tender with me, but I can certainly get you that information.
I would like to get that information.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. And is that approved? Or sorry, all in favor? That is carried. Oh, Councillor McLaughlin.
Just to go, and this maybe go back to Marcia. How much of an increase? Because I think
Well, in the gravel budget this year, we budgeted $150,000.
okay, you don't know what, you don't remember.
Last year, we budgeted $100. Now, we did spend $207,000 last year because there were some extra projects that they were working on to get caught up.
Okay, I just wondered because, yeah, you're right. It comes in at a total cost. Yeah, not so much per yard. It's in total cost. Right.
Okay, anyone else? All right, so moving forward, item number B, I have a recommendation that the Roads, Property, and Protection Committee recommend Council of the Township of Whitewater Region enact a bylaw to award tender 2017-05 HL4 patching to H&H Construction Incorporated at a cost of $13,310.22 after the HST rebate, and authorize the Mayor and CAO Clerk to enter into the necessary agreement. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Mackay, seconded by Reeve Miller. Pardon me?
Janet should maybe note that there's an interesting thing.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
this was a very unique tender. We actually had two companies come in at the exact same price. That's very rare, and in particular for a job like this, if it's something that you're buying just X tons of gravel, often the price can be the same. So we actually did go back to our procurement bylaw, and we were very fortunate, and we were actually commended on it, having a method of determining the low bidder. So the two contractors were brought back in, and we flipped a coin.
Oh.
So the one contractor was low, and that is why H&H has been recommended for award over Smith Construction.
Very good. Interesting. Any comments or concerns? Okay, then I'll ask for a vote. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you. And the last item is I've got a recommendation that Roads, Property, Roads Protection and Property Committee recommend council, the Township of Whitewater Region, approve the award of tender 2017-04 sidewalk machine to FST Canada Incorporated, Joe Johnson Equipment, bid B at a cost of $155,529.07. Have a mover and a seconder, please. A mover and a seconder, please. Councillor McLaughlin and Councillor Mackay. Janice, please. Yeah, Janet.
Actually, we received 3 bids. Holder Tractors did not meet a number of the criteria that were within the bid. FST, which is also known as Joe Johnson Equipment and typically local, that's what you would hear, submitted 2 bids. The first one, and I believe I called it a demo actually after speaking with them, it's a showroom model. So just to give you a little more, it's even less mileage or hours of use as a showroom model even versus a demo. So basically, because they consider it that they've taken the $5,000 off, they're generally the same machine, bid A and bid B. So we were quite confident that the showroom model, demo model, was suitable.
Very good. Any comments or concerns? Then I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Oh, Councillor McLaughlin, is that a vote or is that a?
No,
Okay.
I'm just wondering what is going to happen to the old sidewalk machine. Has there been any thought to that yet?
I will look into the policies, just a bit new. I assume that we have a policy on surplus equipment, and it would be put out accordingly with policy.
Okay. The only thing, because I sit on the airport commission, they might be interested in it.
And I can take that forward, but I would do it in accordance. We'll review the policy. I just don't know the ins and outs of it yet.
Exactly, but I just wanted to mention that they might be interested in it, Janet.
I'll make a note.
And I realize we have policy and procedures, and we have to follow those.
Yes. Airport Commission?
Any other comments or concerns? Then I think we already voted in favor, right? Okay, we're good. Thanks.
Okay. Now, where am I taking this up here? Bylaws. I'll just give it a number. The Charlene's off here, but she said it first. Numbers will be off because we. Yep. 65 and 66. Oh, here you mean? Can we not just leave them like that?
Yeah, you could just, 65 get the polls.
Yeah, I'll just, yeah. Okay, bylaws. 8.1 has been pulled, so we'll go right to 8.2. I can. I have a mover, Councillor Olmsted, seconded by Councillor Regier.
Be it resolved, the bylaw 1706-965 being a bylaw to award the contract for detailed design and engineering services for the reconstruction of John Street, True Love Street, and Crawford Street to JP2G Consultants, Inc. be taken as read and passed.
All those in favor? Carried. 8.3, outstanding youth bursary policy. Can I get a mover? Moved by Councillor Regier, seconded by Reeve Miller.
Be it resolved, the bylaw 1706-966 being a bylaw to establish an outstanding youth bursary policy be taken as read and passed.
All those in favor? Any questions? All those in favor? Carried. 8.4, crushing gravel 2017 tender mover, Councillor McLaughlin, seconded by Councillor Mackay. All those in favour? Carried.
HL.
8.5, HL4 patching. Can I get a mover? Moved by Councillor Regier, seconded by Councillor Olmsted. Robert, question?
Yeah, just a question, like, where are we patching or what are we patching? It's patching, or is it cold patch, or, I
No,
don't...
it's patching, and the patching, like where the water break was here, has to be repaved. The water breaks over on John Street, the patching to reestablish the streets.
Okay, I just had never seen this kind of a bylaw come through. I just scratched it. Well, I couldn't scratch my head because there's no hair left. I didn't know what patching, I know what HL4 is.
Mm-hmm.
But,
That's actually the adopted terminology throughout the industry now
well,
for that. What was that?
Well, you probably did, so our purchasing policy requires if it's over 20,000 that we do a tender. In this case, it came well under 20,000, so likely next year it will be done through quotations. However, our purchasing bylaw as it currently reads says anything above $10,000 has to come to council for approval. So despite the fact that this was in the budget and approved and we did a tender and it's on budget, we have to bring it forward to you.
Councillor McLaughlin.
The HL4 that was supposed to be done on Rapid Road, or is that already been completed?
Last year it was completed.
It was completed, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All those in favour? Carried. .6, Memorandum of Understanding for the 427 Lion Squadron. Can I get a mover? Moved by Councillor Mackay, seconded by Reeve Miller. Any questions on that? That's the Lion and the work down at the park, yeah. Councillor McLaughlin.
Okay, and I know I don't have, but I remember at one point I had asked something about when we're going to do, are we doing any work towards this? Are we doing any, like, preparation?
No.
So no, the memorandum of understanding states that they're responsible for construction, so there's a cement pad that comes with it, and they're responsible for ongoing maintenance. With this happening this year and the playground equipment going in, we'll assess, I know you had mentioned the idea of improving the walkways. I think for this year, there's a lot going on between this and the playground equipment, and then we'll take, Jordan and Jan will take a look in terms of, are there any other improvements we need to do at the park for 2018?
Okay, yeah, and that's exactly where I was going.
Councillor Regier.
Just a quick question. There will be no conflict with the gospel that goes on for that week in the park, correct, like for this construction?
We'll make, this is going to be right near the flag. I'm not sure where the gospel tent usually went.
Next to church.
Okay, so we should be okay. So this is to the, I guess if you're driving towards Pembroke, to the left of the flag.
I'm just thinking noise or anything that might...
They won't work during the evening.
No, yeah. And I should just note that with the MOU, we have final decision-making in terms of where the final location of it, but it's in keeping with what we previously presented to council.
Any other questions? All those in favour? Carried. Cobden District Recreation Association Bylaw 1706-971. Can I have a mover? Moved by Councillor Regier, seconded by Councillor Mackay. Any questions? Councillor McLaughlin.
I just wonder if we should hold off on this until after we've had our open house meetings, or
Yeah, I'll let Robert speak to that.
The entire board has resigned. So what this would allow us
Oh.
to do, what we'll do is we will draft, letters of thanks and also, formally receive their resignations. So this is basically the bylaw that appointed them all. So we'll prepare those letters of thanks for the mayor's signature.
Yes, and you're absolutely right. I'm sorry.
And no need to apologize. Any other questions? All those in favor? Carried. Resolutions, Recreation Master Plan. Can I get a mover? Moved by Councillor McLaughlin, seconded by Councillor Mackay. Okay, well, I'm just trying to spread it around a little bit.
No,
I
you
seen
did
it.
well. You kind of caught me off guard, though.
The Council of the Township of Whitewater Region direct the CAO clerk to issue a request for proposals for the preparation of a recreation master plan in 2017.
Questions? All those in favor? Carried. Get away from that. Hey? Well, we're not reading all that one, are we? We already heard that. I'm not reading it. You have to read it. I don't have to read it. Can I get a mover? Moved by Councillor Olmsted, seconded by Councillor Regier. No, Councillor Mackay maybe. Did you put your hand up? It doesn't matter. I'm just picking you at random now. That's all that's happening, yeah. All right, Robert. You're the speed reader.
Council of the Township of Whitewater Region approve that effective 2017-2018 arena operations be undertaken in-house by the Township of Whitewater Region. Approve the public information centers be held on Saturday, June 24th, 2017 in Westmeath, Beachburg and Cobden to inform the public on the changes. Direct the CAO clerk to draft a job description for supervisor arenas and parks, a new full-time permanent position reporting to the manager of community services. Direct the CAO clerk to draft job descriptions for part-time casual arena operators. Direct the CAO clerk to draft a job description for accounts receivable customer service coordinator, a new full-time permanent position to replace the vacant corporate services assistant position. Direct the treasurer deputy CAO to prepare a draft supplemental tax-supported operating budget for arena operations being assumed by the township. Direct the treasurer deputy CAO to prepare an amendment to the user fees bylaw to reflect the existing ice rental fees previously charged by the operating authorities for each arena. Direct the CAO clerk to provide 30 days written notice of termination of the existing leases with the Beachburg Recreation Association and Westmeath and District Recreation Association. Direct the CAO clerk to prepare a draft 10-year lease for the continued operation of the hall at the Westmeath Arena by the Westmeath and District Recreation Association. Direct the CAO clerk to draft terms of reference for a Recreation Advisory Committee to act as an information sharing mechanism and sounding board on recreation matters to include representation from various partners, including existing associations, with staff leadership by the manager of community services, and direct the CAO clerk to draft terms of reference for an arenas working team, a subgroup of the Recreation Advisory Committee, to provide feedback to staff and council during the transition of arena operations.
Any questions?
Easy for you to say.
You want clarification? Yeah. All those in favor? This is something that we have to proceed with, as everybody's aware of, in order to protect the longevity of our recreation arenas. And again, this will fall in the future over a blanket with the advisory committee. Will then bring in ball fields and other activities to ensure that seniors, younger people like myself and children have something to do with their leisure time, if they get it. Councillor Olmsted.
Yeah, to that end, and something we've already voted on earlier was the Recreation Master Plan. I've had a couple of questions asked of me already. Where's funding for stuff like soccer, for instance? And so what this Rec Master Plan, the Rec Master Plan isn't just for arena operations. It is for the entire region from ages, 2 to 92. And hopefully it'll identify areas of opportunity and maybe some of our strengths and some of our weaknesses. But already in the community, I find that we have some very, very active seniors, more so in the last 5 or 6 years that I'm seeing, for instance, arena in Codden now has a pickleball league that if you go down to the arena, I think Tuesdays and Thursday mornings, maybe some Wednesdays throughout the summer, you'll see a bunch of cars in the parking lot and you wonder where all the people are going. Well, they're inside the arena playing pickleball. And in Westmeath, I hear that they may be looking at that as well. But the Westmeath Association are very strong in other activities like pickleball. It's like tennis with a lower net with a hard round plastic ball
Full of holes,
and with a big paddle, like it's almost like a ping pong paddle. It's a little bit bigger.
big and square.
But yeah, I went down there a couple of years ago because they asked me to go. I wasn't doing anything, and I saw the level that they were playing at, and I turned around and left because there was no way I was getting on the court. They would have hammered me. But anyway, Westmeath as well is a very, very active, I don't know if you'd call them a seniors group. There seems to be people, 55, 60 and older that are very, very active. You see them on cycling all the time and paddling, and they're the ones I think they're really promoting this Bicycle Day. But all that to say, this Rec Master Plan should hopefully identify where we should go in the community with different activities.
Thanks, Chris. Okay. Summer swim lessons, can I get a mover? Moved by Kathy Regier, seconded by Dave Mackay, councillor that is. Any more discussion on that? Councillor McLaughlin?
Are we putting a certain amount that we're going to subsidize? Is there a cutoff, I guess is what I'm asking?
So in terms of the budget that we had, what we would look to is up to 100 registrants. So in Bonnechere Valley, that would mean $45, which is the actual cost. And then for the City of Pembroke, those programs, it would just be the non-resident fee of $43. So the goal would be, we'll see how many we can accommodate this summer.
So what you're saying is up to 100 is what we had budgeted?
I mean, that's the goal. We had a little extra than that in terms of what we had budgeted for salaries. But what this will allow us to see if this model works, and if we get more than 100, that would be great.
Yeah.
But in our mind, that's kind of what we're targeting.
Okay, I just wanted to see that, in case it skyrockets, there'd be some place that you put a limit on.
Well, in Jordan's report, he does detail that it's a maximum, he'll support a maximum of $5,000 on the first come, first served basis. So that's where we'll stop it.
So what you're saying I should read before I...
I didn't say that, I was just pointing something out.
So it's more like 109, because if you divide 5,000 by 45, it gives it a little bit more than 100. So she's correcting me and you, so we're good.
That's okay. Okay. I'm glad to see that. Thank you.
Any more questions? All those in favor? Carried. Community Improvement Plan, Phase 1, 9.4. Can I get a mover? Moved by Councillor Mackay, second by Reeve Miller.
Council of the Township of Whitewater Region, approved proceeding with Phase 1 of the Community Improvement Plan process, including consultation with township residents and businesses. The actual bylaw for the study area will come back in July.
Okay. Questions? All those in favor? Carried. 9.5, sidewalk machine recommendation that get a mover. Councillor McLaughlin, seconder. Councillor Regier? Yeah, I guess I only had one hand up over there.
The Council of the Township of Whitewater Region approved the award of tender 2017-04 sidewalk machine to FSD Canada Incorporating, operating as Joe Johnson Equipment, bid B at a cost of $155,529.07.
Any questions? All those in favor? Carried. Notice of motion. I am going to make a notice of motion that I will be proposing that we strike an economic development Advisory committee, what was the other part of that, the wording? Economic and development and growth, yeah. So what I'm proposing is that we have, and I have been doing background work on this and have some people that have committed to this, and that is to have people from the general public of entrepreneurship and tourism and so on and so forth, development, you name it, to be on an advisory committee that will meet, discuss the future direction that they think we should be going, and make recommendations to council so that we are given more the direction that things are going countrywide, so on and so forth. These people are on top of that all of the time. And so that's my notice of motion we'll be bringing forward next meeting for discussion. Anybody else? Councillor McLaughlin, you got one? Okay, no? Councillor McLaughlin, do you have one?
Well, I just, my recommendations, they're still ongoing.
Yep, and if you just want to specify with the selection of a deputy mayor, is what I'm assuming?
Selection of deputy mayor and selection of council makeup.
Okay. Then, all right. Any other notices of motion? Seeing none. Minutes of the last council.
The Council of the Township of Whitewater Region approved the regular council minutes of June 7th, 2017.
Mover, Councillor Mackay, seconded by Councillor Regier. All those in favor? Carried.
The Council of the Township of Whitewater Region approved the closed session minutes of June 7th, 2017, understanding that they remain confidential.
All those in favor? Mover and seconder, Councillor Mackay, seconded by Reeve Miller. All those in favor? Carried. Yeah, I can't wait. All right, correspondence.
Mr. Mayor, these are all to be noted and filed. The one that I'll just bring to your attention is the response we received to Council's concerns and requests for additional information on the recent Smith severance applications. And that's just before you so that we get it out to the public, and I understand from members present that they've received that document. There is more information to come in terms of test wells and test pits. So at a later date, staff will come back with a follow-up report to either confirm the previous comments and if you have any additional ones or if you're seeking additional information. But we just wanted to bring back the county's formal response to you so that it's on the record.
I wasn't at the council meeting when that was brought forward, but I understand it was sort of blocked for the moment until we get all the information, or stopped until we get all the information. Is that correct?
Yes, and what we want to remind people is that the Land Division Committee at the county is the deciding factor on this. However, council's comments are always weighed. And council last time asked for additional information regarding the separation distance, the wells, the number of severances. So you've seen that response, and once we get more information on the water, on the test pits and the test well, Doug will be bringing forward a follow-up report.
Okay. So at this point, we'll be going into close. And I have a mover. Moved by Councillor Mackay, seconded by... Do you want to ask a question, or...?
Are we going to finish the correspondence?
Oh, good, that was all,
I thought there's 12.3 and 12.4.
okay. Any questions on them? Because they're all in our package. If there's any questions,
Okay,
we'll table them.
I do have a question on
Okay.
12.3. I think... I don't know, and Marcia, did that come through as a whole sponsor, or are we
checking
Did-
now, I don't remember off
Okay.
the top of my
I
head.
don't remember that
I don't
request
remember,
either.
but I'm just gonna check it now. I'll get back to you guys.
We had, last year we said that they didn't need to ask for it every year because we were providing it every year, I presume? That was, that's what my memory serves me as. They said they had to ask, but we said they were getting it anyway.
My recollection is this is not in the budget, so if council does want us, and if it is, it's great, but maybe it, just out of caution, if council does wish to support it, that you seek a mover and a seconder to do a whole sponsor, and then we'll proceed with that.
Okay, you wanna do that, that's the next meeting?
Or do you, since
can do it right
since
now.
it's on the agenda, you can get a mover and seconder for
Sure,
a whole
I
sponsorship.
get a mover, seconder, so we got mover Mackay, seconder McLaughlin. And you have a comment?
I'm just wondering if we could do a whole sponsor and donate a couple of golf shirts as well.
Yeah, I think that's what we decided on last year, and I'm all for that.
I would like to see those minutes, because I don't remember. I do remember, and I am sure I've told them before, that I know I've told Civitan that every year they have to have it in by November. And I don't know why we should make any difference from one to the other.
Maybe my memory isn't serving me correctly, that's okay. Marcia?
The only one that we had in the budget was for the one for the Civitan Club on July 28th. So this one is not in it.
I have a mover and a seconder. Do you want, okay, no more questions, then all those in favor of sponsoring a couple of golf shirts and a hole is what we were talking? Oh, I did, Mackay and McLaughlin, yes. All those in favor? All right, carried. Any other questions on correspondence?
No, nothing on 14, that's fine. Or 12-4.
Okay, then we move into closed session. Can I get a mover? Moved by Councillor Mackay, seconded by Reeve Miller.
The Council of the Township of Whitewater Region move into closed session at 7:16 p.m. to discuss one human resources matter pertaining to the CIO clerk's probationary period, labor relations, or employee negotiations, with the CIO clerk remaining in the room.
All those in favor?